So in this video, I want to show you how you can do Loom outreach to book an additional 10 to 30 sales calls a month. I'm going to go over why you would do Loom outreach, how to set up the system to send out these Loom videos, what to say in the email, and what to say in the Loom, and then how to actually book in the calls. So I'm going to do some rapid fire points here. So I suggest that you pay attention to the video. If you're not in a position to do that, I recommend you click out. So there's going to be a very kind of fast walkthrough here of how to actually pull this off. Now, first of all, why would you listen to us? So Scale Sprints, our company, we've set up a bunch of systems for doing outreach. Of course, for some of our clients, we do this sort of Loom approach as well. We've added multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars to each of these companies here. We've also done that for ourselves. This is the past few months here, collected 125K USD, with some of this also coming from Loom Outreach. So why would you consider Loom Outreach? Well, first of all, it stands out because most people reaching out to your ideal customers are anonymous and faceless. In 2025, there's really a trust epidemic. There's a lot of bots, AI, stuff like that. So people are very skeptical unless they already know you. But a Loom video will help you build that trust. It's also very low friction. So most people ask for a call in the first email, which is considered a hard call to action. But a Loom video only requires 2 minutes of their time, and they can kind of watch it whenever they like. There's no pressure. Additionally, it also serves as kind of a mini sales call, because when you think about it, like why do we want to have people on a call? Well, the reason is we want their unbroken attention during a pitch, and a video can actually do the exact same thing. So it's essentially a mini sales call. It allows you to talk, show things on your screen, have their attention while they're watching the video. Also, it's a form of personalization as well. So it will allow you to individually address the prospects, and this adds additional personalization and also trust as a function of that. Now, it also allows you to display your personality. So it allows you to actually show who you are. Oftentimes, people get a first impression of you, and if you can, generate a good first impression, then that's a huge benefit for the rest of the sales motion. So the next question is how to actually set up the system. I'm going to cover this in kind of broad strokes because this is something that I will individually create videos on each of these parts here. But if we look at the infrastructure first, you want to use instantly.ai for your sending. This is essentially a tool where you can connect email accounts to this sending tool. It will automatically send out emails. From all the tools we've tried, this is the best one. I would not recommend using Apollo or HubSpot or MailChimp or some of these legacy tools. I can create a separate video on why I don't use those. But Instantly is by far the best tool that we've ever used for sequencing. For email accounts, you want to go with Google. We've had the best experience with using Google accounts. We don't recommend buying accounts directly from Google or Microsoft. We use a reseller for this purpose. We have a specific partner that we have for G Suite reseller accounts. So this is something we grant our clients access to. This is the most cost-effective and best way of setting up an infrastructure for cold emails. This is the actual like email accounts, like the licenses. Now, for email data, as a very broad database we use often, you can use Apollo. You can also use LinkedIn Sales Navigator is also a big one. That doesn't provide email addresses, so you'll have to enrich it with a different tool. One of them could be Clay, which has a lot of different data integrations, so you can enrich the data with email addresses and the profiles of the people. But you can also use very specific databases. So, for example, if you're looking for funded companies, could be Crunchbase. If you're looking for finance-related companies, could be PitchBook. Maybe there's also industry-specific directories that you can find with companies in a specific industry. And again, you want to kind of scrape the actual raw data using a custom scraper, and then enrich the data with a tool like Clay, as I mentioned. Now, what to say in the email? So I have 3 different scripts here that you can kind of copy paste if you want to. Which is kind of like industry agnostic. The first one here is the one-liner. This one's great. You can just say, can I send over literally just hi first name. Can I send over a 2-minute video explaining how we help roles? This would be, let's say it's CFOs you're reaching out to, achieve X in Y timeframe. And that's just the email. It's just very, very simple. And then in the PS line, you can put some social proof. The reason why you would probably want to do that is because it just builds a little bit of authority. It gives them an additional reason to actually watch the video. And it's always good to put in the PS line because people tend to read the PS line. The pain points to solution call to action is another model here. So again, it goes hi, first name, as role at company. Have you found a solution to pain point? So you call out a specific pain point. And then in the next line, you can say we help. And then you can insert specifically how you help the person. And you want to kind of, again, obviously you want to help the company, but you want to also kind of make sure that it relates to the role of the person you're reaching out to. So the owner of a company might have a very different kind of way of looking at things than the head of sales. So you want to just make sure that whoever the ICP is, you want to kind of tailor it in that sense. And then the call to action here is no rush. Would you like me to send over a 2-minute video explaining how we help role achieve X in Y time frame? So this is a great call to action here because a lot of like um, code emails that they get, they're very demanding. Like they're directly asking for time, like hopping on a Zoom call. But if you're just like, hey, no rush, can I send over this 2-minute video? Oftentimes that's refreshing for a prospect to hear. And then this one, the last one here, this is just bullet points. It's very similar. It's just how we can help companies like yours with X. Specifically, we provide the following benefits. You list out the benefits, and then you have the call to action, right? So bullet points. One of the benefits being they're very skimmable. It's very easy for the prospect to scan the email. But I mean, the downside with that is sometimes also bullet points can kind of they see that there are bullet points and they think it might be a sales email. So there's that. But I still think it's a great framework to at least try. So then, what to say in the Loom video? How to actually make the Loom video? So first of all, just four points here that I would recommend. The first one is make it look professional, have a good camera, have a decent background, and have decent audio. Also, keep it 1 to 3 minutes long. I wouldn't go above that; it's too long. Immediately establish authority and social proof. It's the first thing you want to do in the video itself. And then also don't make it boring. Don't make people click off right away. So try to make it a bit more engaging. Use your personality. Don't just sound completely monotone. So for the script itself, these are basically like the 5 different parts that you want to include. So you want to do the introduction and how you found them. You actually want to have that before the social proof, by the way. But just quickly do that, like why them, why now, essentially. You can do that in the video. Then you come with the social proof and authority. So who you've helped, how many people you've helped, etc. Then you go into the pain points. You can even address kind of what they're probably doing now. So you can say most people we talk to now do X, Y, or C. And then you want to go to the solution. So we do A, B, and C to solve the pain points. And then the call to action. And in the video, you want to do a hard call to action because you don't want to keep them in these infinite chains of just talking for too long. When they've actually committed to watching the full video, you can do a hard call to action. You want to get them on a call. So, for example, if this was me, I'm reaching out to a company. I could say, let's say I'm reaching out to somebody. This is a software company I want to work with, and I'm saying, I saw you guys are hiring for an SDR. What are you guys currently doing for your? Or I was wondering what you're currently doing with outbound. Are you doing any cold email? Right, that could be my introduction. And then the social proof could be me essentially showing the case studies like I did in the beginning of this video, talking about kind of what we do and who we are and who we've helped. Then go into the pain point. I could say, hey, I talk to a lot of companies and have a very scattered process for their lead generation, or they rely on word of mouth or on scalable channels, etc. And then I go into my solution, which is a scale outbound system, particularly leveraging cold email, which is the most scalable outbound channel. And then going into the call to action, like would you want to kind of see how we do this, what our clients are making, what our clients are doing, and so on and so forth. So that is pretty much how you want to kind of structure the scripts. And then the next question is how to book in the calls. So a positive response is really just the beginning. One thing I see very often with people doing outbound is that they generate a positive response, but they're not really getting people onto that call. So especially in these cases when you're doing a soft call to action, which a Loom video is, you have to really follow up like crazy, and you need to be prepared for long customer journeys essentially. So if they do not respond on the day you send the Loom video, especially if you can see that they actually watched it, you want to follow up the day after and the day after that. And this might sound a bit radical. Most people in sales don't do this, but I believe that people are the most likely to buy right when they've expressed interest, and you want to kind of um, condense your follow-ups to that time frame where they're super interested. And then from there you stretch out the follow-ups by doubling the amount of time in between follow-ups. So 2 days, 4 days, 8 days, 16 days, 32 days, right? So you do it like you're doubling it. And the reason for that is you don't want to send them an email every 2 days because they're just going to block you and get annoyed. So you want to do that because there is a high probability that they're busy or they change their minds. So you still want to follow up with them, but just not at a excessive rate. Additionally, you can also connect with them on LinkedIn and call them. So this is like omni-channel touch points. This is really for the diehards that really want to make sure that they're getting the absolute most out of every lead they generate. So I would recommend doing that if you have the resources to do that. So and also just to kind of hammer home this point here. So the prospect journey is often very messy, and people fail to realize this, right? So an example could be a prospect's response with interest to the email. They watch the Loom video, they get distracted, and they forget to respond. They receive the follow up email the day after. They watch the Loom again. They check out your website, but then they get distracted by work, and then remembering your email, and then they're viewing your LinkedIn profile. Then they might forget it again. They received your second follow up. They respond to that follow up. They couldn't find a time on their schedule that kind of fit with. Let's say you send the Calendly link, but they couldn't find an available time, so they forget it again. They kind of click out and they're like, whatever, I'm gonna just do this task I was doing, and then you call them and you establish a time that works. This is an example of kind of a very messy, long chain of events that eventually leads to a meeting booked. So this is very, very important to keep this in mind. That is not always a completely simple and linear process of getting somebody booked once they've watched the Loom video. Just because they don't respond immediately does not mean they're not interested. So you just got to keep this in mind that there's a process behind all this stuff. So I hope this video was helpful. If you're looking for somebody to kind of just set up this whole thing for you, do all the stuff I've mentioned here for you, apart from filming the videos, which you would have to do that. But we can help you set up everything here. And if you're interested in that, I'll leave a link below to book a meeting with me, or you can check out www.scalesprint.io. We are certified instantly.ai experts, so you can also find us on their website as well. So I hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching the video.